WWE has social media in a frenzy, teasing several possible big returns via some mysterious social media vignettes. The big question is just who is WWE teasing the return or arrival of? We're going to let you know all of the details in this news update. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling, and everybody right now is talking about these mysterious vignettes that WWE has been uploading to their social media platforms. And the big question is just what are WWE teasing? Just what is the thing that they're teasing could happen as soon as possibly tonight's episode of Raw or possibly Saturday night's main event this coming weekend? Well, WWE has shared several mysterious teasers on social media, seemingly teasing several superstars' returns or arrival ahead of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw in Anaheim, California, or possibly Saturday night's main event this coming weekend in Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, heading into the latter months of 2025, there's a lot of speculation regarding some familiar faces returning to WWE television. We're going to be talking about that in just a second. Now, initially, the first video went up really early on Sunday morning, and a lot of people said this had nothing to do with Halloween Havoc, which took place the night before, of course, NXT's PLE, and people thought, is it just teasing one person's arrival, just one WWE superstar's arrival? Well, that's not the case, because WWE actually ended up posting 3 videos throughout Sunday, each of them showing a pair of feet walking in black shoes. It seemingly is different people, different shoes, unless it's a costume change every single time. Now, we've actually got another one this morning, this time someone wearing black shoes with jeans, which we'll talk about in just a second. Now, there isn't really much in the way of clues as to who could be in the videos, but it's led many fans to speculate about what this is in reference to. Now, again, the conclusion is that it's not just a tease for one person, as the clips all show different shoes, and many fans believe them to be entirely different feet. That's the territory we're going in, folks. Therefore, it would stand to reason that there is at least 2, possibly 3, 4 people being teased in these videos. However, again, other than that, and it being someone who dresses smart but also wears jeans, there isn't too much to go by in terms of predictions or actual news stories. No one's really actively reported as to who these people are, which would again suggest that WWE is keeping all the information on this very close to the vest indeed. Now, the videos all feature brief and faint guitar riffs at the end of the clips, and it's a lot of people's discussion as to just, again, who any of this could be. We'll get into some kind of theories about it in just a second, but if you haven't seen the videos, what I've done is stitch them all together, because again, they're all very short, so you'll see each of the 4 that have been uploaded as of the time recording this video. By the time you watch this, maybe more have been uploaded. WWE have been spacing them out throughout yesterday and possibly today, so I have to wait and see. But here are the vignettes in question. So difficult to predict who WWE are teasing there in all of these different teasers. Now, there is one theory that this is maybe a new version of the Vision. Now, in terms of the screen grabs and possibly which vignette is who. There is a theory that the first one is maybe Paul Heyman, who's often been seen in a suit. Maybe that could be this person who is now leading the Vision after Seth Rollins was exited from it. Now, there have been others that have said, well, actually, no, that doesn't look like Heyman, because we're into territory of trying to look at people's ankles and feet and go, that's not Heyman's feet. Some are saying maybe it's Austin Theory. Austin Theory has been rumored to possibly returning to WWE television soon. He's been off of TV since the spring. There have been reports suggesting that WWE have been considering adding him to the Vision. This was even before Seth Rollins got injured, and he was going to be part of the War Games match at Survivor Series this year. CM Punk and Roman Reigns were going to have their team, and it was going to be going up against the Vision. At one point, the Vision's team was going to consist of Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, of course, Bron Breakker, and then possibly a returning Austin Theory and maybe Brock Lesnar. So some are saying, well, maybe this is Austin Theory. Maybe that first one's Austin Theory if it's not Paul Heyman. That would then suggest that the next one perhaps could be Bron Breakker, as you've seen here on the screen. He has, when he's been wearing suits and been dressing up smart in the past, he kind of wears sneakers with his suit, so they kind of look sneakerish, and maybe that's Bron Breakker. That would mean the next one is Big Bronson Reed, because you look at kind of the shoes he's wearing, he kind of wears sort of sneakers / boots, and his trousers come down a little bit differently, so maybe that could be Big Bronson Reed, with the prior one being Bron Breakker. And this is the one I think most people are confident by. The jeans with sort of loafers combination, there aren't many people who dress like that usually that are currently on the WWE roster. Only very, very few. And it feels like the most obvious one is Brock Lesnar, as you can see right there when Brock Lesnar returned at SummerSlam and attacked John Cena. And pretty much every appearance he's made since then, where he's been in his regular street clothes, it's jeans and loafers. That looks like a Brock Lesnar kind of attire. Could be completely and totally wrong there, but it kind of feels like that. The only interesting thing about it is Brock doesn't really usually do sort of vignettes. He doesn't really do anything that he doesn't have to do in terms of extra filming, in terms of backstage promos, or just, stuff that would require him to actually be there. Unless, he flew into California yesterday and was around, and that's why it was posted. I don't know. But there's a sort of feeling of that one definitely could be Brock. The other ones, not so much is certain, but that does feel a lot like Brock Lesnar, which is leading people to speculate that it is something sort of Vision related and Paul Heyman related, and that's why the other ones are sort of drawing the conclusion that they could be possibly Bron Breakker, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman. Now, there are other names that it could be. Let's talk about Santos Escobar. Santos Escobar is someone that has been reported to be at Raw this week. As recently as last week, it was reported that Escobar was set to be at Raw this coming Monday. Now, last week, there was a report from Bodyslam.net that said that Santos Escobar was scheduled to be at next Monday's episode of Raw, which is, of course, this week's. Now, they've once again confirmed that is the case. As has been noted, if he appears on television, this would be Santos Escobar's official return after his brief exit from the company. Of course, it was a massive news story that Escobar had turned down several WWE contract offers. He was a free agent. His contract expired. It was expected he was going to go elsewhere. And then in the hours just after his WWE deal expired, they offered him a new deal, reportedly for big, big money with creative assurances. He was going to be utilized on television. And ever since he put pen to paper on that new deal, many people have been waiting to see, right, when is Escobar going to come back? What is WWE's plans for Escobar, considering they've given him this big money deal? His last appearance in the ring for WWE on TV was at Worlds Collide in Inglewood, California, same state that they're in this evening, back in June. He teamed with Los Garza. They defeated El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., Pagano, and Psycho Clown. These teasers could be related to possibly Santos Escobar and maybe a new faction. One of them could be Santos Escobar. A lot of people saying that kind of first vignette with the sort of smarter shoes, that kind of feels like it could be Escobar. So he would be expected to have big creative plans, so Escobar's certainly someone to consider. There's discussion that one of them could be Gunther. Of course, Gunther, who's been out since SummerSlam when he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to CM Punk. They had a spot in the match where Punk bloodied him after being thrown over the announce table. Gunther is expected back on WWE television imminently. There have been reports suggesting that he's going to have the esteemed spot of being John Cena's final ever WWE in-ring opponent. Cena's final match before he retires is going to be taking place in December on Saturday night's main event from Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena. And we're getting closer and closer. We're nearly in November, and with about a month, sort of 6 weeks-ish to go before John Cena retires, Gunther would need to come back at some point. There have even been rumors of a possible tournament to determine who is going to be John Cena's final opponent, and Gunther may win that. So Gunther would need to be back on WWE television imminently, so there is a good possibility one of them could be the former World Heavyweight Champion. Another name that seems really, really unlikely, but also possible, because when it comes to him recently, anything is possible, is Andrade. Now, people don't really know what the status is of Andrade at the moment. So the timeline goes, Andrade was fired by WWE for wellness policy violations. There was then a feeling he didn't have a non-compete clause because he was fired. So he appeared on AEW television on the 6th anniversary of Dynamite, and he joined the Don Callis family. Then he disappeared. It was then reported that the reason he had disappeared is because WWE reached out, sent a legal letter to AEW and Andrade saying, you do have a non-compete clause, and actually it's a year long in your new contracts under TKO. If you're fired for cause, you can have a non-compete which is a year long. But people have pushed back on that, saying that's not enforceable. If it went to a court situation, Andrade would win there because you can't enforce a non-compete. They can't work for an entire year and you're not getting paid during that time. It's different if you're getting paid by WWE, but the suggestion is that he's not. And then after all of that happening, there were rumors that WWE, because Andrade was under that 1 year non-compete or a non-compete, they were trying to bring him back to WWE television because it would make AEW, I guess, look bad and it would get people talking. So maybe they're trying to bring him back. Whether or not Andrade would want to come back, on top of that, do you want to bring back someone that you just fired for wellness policy violations? How does that look? Does WWE even care about that? So that's another school of thought. Another school of thought has been that one of them could be Chris Jericho. Of course, Jericho's worn many different outfits during his professional wrestling career. He's part of the rock band Fozzy, so the guitar riff at the end could be related to him. He's been heavily linked with a return to WWE once his AEW contract expires. But the biggest issue with that theory is that Chris Jericho's contract reportedly with AEW runs through the end of the year. Now, he could still go back to WWE, but the suggestion is it would have to be in 2026, unless Jericho's contract expires earlier than first thought, or Jericho, out of respect between him and Tony Khan, has been allowed to leave AEW early and possibly go to WWE. But it feels unlikely that could be teasing Jericho because it's just too early at this point. Another name, possibly Tony D'Angelo. He's been absent from NXT for a few months. He has been rumored for a main roster call-up ever since the summer, even the spring. There was rumors that he had asked for time off NXT television, and he actually competed at a few NXT live events recently, so there was a thought of maybe he's returning to NXT television imminently. But the suggestion also is that his character was kind of killed off, like many characters have as part of that whole D'Angelo family storyline in WWE NXT. So maybe this is the tweaks that had been reported before he got called up to the main roster. So that is someone that absolutely could be a situation. Another suggestion is that maybe it could be Edge. I mean, there are some fans that are still hoping that he's going to have a role to play in WWE's retirement tour. He's been absent from AEW TV, but actually that's just been due to him filming for an acting role. There's nothing to suggest it's actually possible for it to be him at this point, because he's under contract with AEW until well into 2026 and has shown really no signs that he wants to leave. It's worth mentioning because it feels like anything's on the table at this point because just nobody knows. So I guess anything's possible, but this one is highly, highly unlikely. Other names that have been thrown out there, Amos, we haven't seen him recently. He has been back on AAA television, but frankly, someone that's about, 7'4", 7'3", some of those feet just don't look big enough to be the Nigerian giant, does it? So I'm not sure it could be Amos. And then I guess anyone else is possible. Austin Theory, as I've said, has been put out there. Who do you think? I mean, it's up for you guys to discuss. This is sometimes the great thing about pro wrestling, isn't it? Is having these discussions and guesses and, whether it's whodunit or reveals or what have you. So What do you guys think? Can you name the 4 teasers so far? Who do you think they are? What do you think WWE is doing? And when do you think WWE are going to reveal indeed just who they are teasing on social media? Let me know your thoughts, your predictions, your hot takes in the comment section below as always. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe. As you can see right there, we are less than 250 subscribers to go until 25,000, which is our goal in 2025 to hit 25k. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. A reminder right there in the sidebar, this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our great affiliates. That includes NordVPN. Tonight is another episode of Raw on Netflix, and just like you can watch Raw on Netflix, you can watch every bit of WWE programming on Netflix. All you have to do is get a VPN. Those in the United States, we go, no, you watch NXT on the CW, you watch SmackDown on USA, you watch main roster PLEs on ESPN, and you watch NXT PLEs on Peacock. Same with Saturday night's main event this weekend. And I would say, you don't have to. You don't have to. If you get a VPN, you can change your location to an international territory. Like here in the UK, you can watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, main roster PLEs, NXT PLEs, archive content, Saturday night's main event for free on YouTube. All the other stuff just part of your Netflix subscription. Not bad. So scan the QR code, click the link in the video description below, be pinned in the comment section as well. Or you can use our custom link, which is nordvpn.com/WN365. Once again, that's nordvpn.com/WN365. You can get up to 77% off plus 3 months extra free whilst you're doing it. You can save yourself some money. You can support this channel in the process, and you can enjoy all of your WWE content in one place. Not bad. Appreciate everyone for tuning in as always, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.